for the new print edition of the Mueller report. But did Attorney General William Barr's testimony change anything? Let's find out. Please welcome back Alan Dershowitz. Hi. Thank you. So, Alan, we've been talking about the Attorney General and the hearing yesterday. You watched it. What was your take?
Well, I thought that he was right on the merits when he said that the president couldn't obstruct justice simply by firing Comey, but I don't think he did a particularly credible job on the rest of the issue. And then I think his decision today not to testify in front of the House of Representatives was a mistake. He should testify.
Why did he do
should,
that?
you know, whether the White House told him to do it or whether he said enough's enough or whether he was concerned about lawyers having a half an hour. Would you want to be cross-examined by Sonny for a half an hour?
Probably not.
Absolutely not. She's fantastic. She'll make you say things you don't want to say. So it's easy to resist questions from elected members because they generally tend to try to get reelected and they politicize everything. But when professional lawyers ask you questions, hey, there's no hiding, and that's why I think he didn't want to testify.
Probably.
Oh, it's me. So, yesterday I said, a lie is a lie is a lie. Barr knew what he was doing when he misled Congress by saying, you know, here are the 4 things and there's nothing else in there. Don't look at, there's nothing there. When are we going to get back to the right and wrong thing? Like your mom taught you, I assume, and my mom taught me, and our parents taught us. If you lie, there are consequences. When are consequences coming back? Because it seems to me the more lies that spread out, this is not good for us as a nation.
Absolutely. And they come back on November of 2020 when we all go to the polls and we vote against people that we think lied. But it would be a terrible thing to criminalize lies. There would be no politicians left.
Yeah.
If we said it was a crime to lie to the media, to lie to
No,
friends.
not to the media. The media, you expect it. But to the sitting bodies, I thought
well,
that
it is a crime.
It is.
It is a crime to lie to Congress. It is a crime to lie to the FBI.
And it's a lie to direct other people to lie.
It's to the FBI. It's not a lie to direct other people to lie to the media.
But to direct other people to commit perjury.
Absolutely,
in front of a body
and that's what
also
Nixon was going to be impeached for. He told Haldeman and Ehrlichman to lie to the FBI. That's obstruction of justice.
What does that sound
That's
like?
a crime.
What does that sound like, though?
Well, but let me tell you what the difference is. It sounds the same, but the rule of law requires that we distinguish between sins and crimes. Sins we vote about on Election Day. Crimes require people like Sonny to indict you and put you in jail, but you have to cross a line. And there's no federal crime that says it's illegal to lie to the media, it's illegal to operate a bad administration. Those are not crimes. Let me give you a great example that was not cited in the Mueller report.
Because there were 11 examples of obstruction
Let me
cited.
give you one from a different president, George H.W. Bush. On the day that Caspar Weinberger, his former Secretary of Defense, was supposed to be sent to trial for the Iran-Contra scandal crime, he pardoned him. And he pardoned him for one reason. He didn't want him to testify against him. He did it for his own purpose. And the special prosecutor said that. He said that he pardoned him in order to end the investigation. It was corrupt and it was obstructive. But nobody suggested that President Bush could be indicted for obstruction of justice because you're allowed under the Constitution to pardon people, and you're allowed under the Constitution to fire people. So my argument, and I wish I were back teaching at Harvard because it's a very interesting argument for students because there are 2 sides to it. If a president engages in conduct that's authorized under Article 2 of the Constitution, that can't be the act that's required for obstruction of justice.
Well,
that's my view. Not everybody agrees with that.
I don't agree with it, but we can move on.
Well, I have a question. Would you agree with it? It's going to be a hard question for you.
I thought I asked the questions
I know, but I get to ask
Professor.
you one. Would you agree with it if the person who were being indicted or investigated were Hillary Clinton? Do we all pass the shoe on the other foot test? You know, the original title for my book, The Case Against Impeaching Trump, was the case against impeaching Hillary Clinton.
I absolutely would. I think that if the Mueller report came up with these 11 instances of potential obstruction, I think I would have, certainly.
And
no
I
question.
agree with you, but do you think all of our colleagues many of whom are very partisan, would apply the same rules to a Hillary Clinton than to President
Barack
Trump?
Obama?
That's the question. Or to Barack Obama?
No.
I hope so.
Look, Barack Obama didn't do any of these things.
But
he had a very
he
clean
didn't.
administration.
That's why everybody's pissed.
Of course.
But as you know, I'm a straight shooter.
Yeah,
But let me ask you. I am. Let me ask you this. Barr admitted, which was shocking to me, that he didn't even read the underlying evidence. Only read the report.
Right.
It's not even clear to me if he even read the full report, honestly. How could he make a call like that on obstruction without looking at the underlying evidence?
Okay, let me tell you how. He believed that Mueller got it wrong on the law, and it's only about 6 pages legal analysis, because Mueller says you can obstruct justice even if you engage in constitutionally protected conduct. Barr doesn't believe that. So from Barr's point of view, the whole Mueller report is based on a false legal premise. Look, it would have been much better if he hadn't said a word until A, he read the report, B, every American read the report, you read the report, I read the report. Then Barr should have come out, had a press conference, and explained why he thought there was insufficient
Not to
evidence.
mention, it wasn't his call to make. It was
Let's
Congress's call to make.
No. I
guys-
completely and fundamentally disagree with you on that.
I know you do.
Congress has the right to impeach, but to indict, to prosecute, that's the call of the Attorney General. This Attorney General was not recused, as distinguished from the prior Attorney General. He made the call. In my view, he made the right call, though he made it in the wrong way.
But here's
referred
what
this to
frustrates me
Congress.
about this after over 2 years of this, $26 million spent on this report. People are still sitting with a million questions.
That's right.
Whoopi brings up all the time that Trump Tower meeting about adoption. I want to hear from Robert Mueller.
I
Lindsey
do
Graham
too.
says this is over. We don't need to hear from him. If we heard from him, do you think that would solve so much of this confusion right now?
No, because the confusion is based on the fact that we're all partisans. People root for a side. If you say anything that is seen as helping Trump, you're an anti-this and you're a pro-Trump. If you say anything that is against Trump, people choose sides. They want to be confused. They don't want to know the truth. Today we have Republican truth and Democrat truth.
An alternative fact.
And alternative. I want Mueller to testify. You know, I graded the report. I graded the report. In my introduction, I gave it a grade. You know what I gave him the grade? Incomplete, because he failed to come to a conclusion on obstruction of justice. That was his job. First question you have to ask him when he
referred it to Congress.
But that's not the job of a special counsel.
He
to
was so
refer
worried
things
about
to
what happened
Congress.
to James Comey.
He should have.
But there's a deal.
You know, that's a
Don't
good
you
point.
think that's why?
That is a very good point, but he did it the opposite way. What James Comey did is said, I'm coming to a conclusion. We're not indicting Hillary Clinton. Now let me tell you how sloppy she was and the way she handled. That was wrong.
There's a DOJ policy, Professor, that says that you cannot indict a sitting president.
That's right.
And perhaps that is why
But
he
he
didn't make
said
the determination.
explicitly, he said that was not the reason he did it. He said the reason he did it was because there was insufficient evidence to warrant bringing criminal charges. That was the right conclusion, but he went about it in a very inept way. He didn't give the American people confidence that he had done enough research, enough work
Well, but
before he
we
came
won't
to that
know
conclusion.
that. We won't know that because now everybody's thoroughly confused because nobody seems to want to tell us jack doo-doo.
That's right.
But members of the audience are getting a copy of his book.